President Biden this morning ended his trip to France by laying a wreath at a cemetery just outside of Paris, where American soldiers and Marines were buried in World War I. Shortly after, he explained why the trip was necessary.
The idea that I'd come to Normandy and not make this short trip here to pay tribute. And it's the same story. Think about it. America showed up. America showed up to stop the Germans. And America shows up when we need it, just like our allies show for us.
Earlier this week, the president marked 80 years since the D-Day invasion that helped begin the liberation of Europe from Nazi control and touted American leadership and democracy on the world stage. It inspired us to look at some of the lessons of our past. 20 years after the victory at Normandy, Walter Cronkite returned there with Dwight Eisenhower.
You see that high ground right above there?
The former president reflected on his decision as Supreme Allied Commander to storm the beaches and liberate Europe from Nazi Germany.
I devoutly hope that we will never again have to see such scenes as these. But these people gave us a chance, and they bought time for us so that we can do better than we have before.
This week, President Biden, a small child in 1944, praised the few surviving veterans whose bravery, he said, we need to summon again.
We're living in a time when democracy is more at risk across the world than any point since the end of World War II, since these beaches were stormed in 1944.
The tyrant bent on domination now, he said, is Vladimir Putin, whose soldiers have taken Ukrainians from their homes away to filtration camps, abducted Ukrainian children, and sent invading forces to ravage Ukraine. Putin's axis of allies includes rising power China, North Korea, and Iran.
The autocrats of the world are watching closely to see what happens in Ukraine, to see if we let this illegal aggression go unchecked.
Biden wasn't the only one hearing echoes of the past.
Oh, you're the savior of the people. Here's my eyes.
99-year-old D-Day vet Melvin Hurwitz called President Zelensky a hero. Former President Donald Trump has a very different opinion of Zelensky, and Trump argues the largest invasion in history is underway now at the U.S. southern border. This past week, he said our worst enemy is within America.
I say we have the enemy in from within, and we have the enemy from the outside. And I'm telling you, we are in more danger from the enemy from within with these lunatics, these fascists, these communists, and we're going to stop that also.
Past presidents have also gone to Normandy and called on weary Americans to remember that deterring conflict today costs less than fighting it tomorrow.
We've learned that isolationism never was and never will be an acceptable response to tyrannical governments with an expansionist intent.
The ascendant far-right forces in Europe, riding the wave of a backlash against migration there and a surge in anti-Semitism, reflect another strain on the international system. Similar divides here at home raise questions about whether we've forgotten that ignoring hate or appeasing authoritarians can come with an unimaginably high cost, one paid 80 years ago by these troops, who, as Eisenhower said, bought time for us so that we can do better than we have before.